Hello, hello. We are here again, friend, for another episode of The Anxious Creative. And as always, I have an exceptional episode for you, but especially this week because I have a special guest coming on and you are going to love her. She literally does it all. She is a mom of 4 children. She's a salon owner. She is a content creator and influencer, a podcaster, and an educator. And if you want to know how you can do all those things like she is and is doing, she's going to dish all the secrets for you in today's episode. So get ready to welcome Mirella Manelli to the Anxious Creative Podcast. Buckle up, friends. This is going to be fun. I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. All right, you guys, I'm so excited to introduce you to Mirella Cinderella Gorilla.
Hey.
I had to. Mirella Manelli in the house. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be doing this with you today.
I know. I'm so excited. And like for everyone that just heard me say Mirella, Cinderella, Gorilla, where does that come from?
So that's just kind of been a childhood thing that I get people to remember my name by, because technically my name's Mirella.
Oh.
So I know. So instead of saying Mirella, I say Mirella. And then they still have a hard time with Mirella. So then I go Cinderella, Gorilla. And sometimes I put umbrella in there too.
Oh, I like the umbrella. Umbrella. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't know if I can pronounce. My tongue doesn't do it, but it's so funny because I'm just gonna put let everyone in. I feel like you just redeemed yourself on pronouncing words, because just before we started pressing record, I was saying how I want a chaise lounge in my office, and you're like, "Oh, what?" And
Hey,
like,
a chaise.
And I'm Canadian, so we learn French words. I'm not bilingual by any means, but I wonder if that's it. But I was like, chase. But now you have like that beautiful Spanish. You are capable of saying the word in a French way.
Oh my gosh, my face is probably like bright red right now.
I love it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. All right, Mirella.
Love it.
Let's let everybody know a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, what you do.
Oh my gosh. So first off, I'm from Southern California. And I like to tell people I have 4 kids. I like to start off with that first, because then you can kind of understand, I guess, or maybe not understand. You probably wonder how I do all of this. But I'm a salon owner. I've been a salon owner for about 3 years now, I think. 3 years. I'm also a hair educator. I have an education background since 2014 with Kenra Professional. And then now I do content creation, AKA influencer work, as a Kenra artistic ambassador. I have a great relationship with them, and I know the product like the back of my hand. I also just launched my own podcast this year. And then in addition to that, my salon has a podcast as well. So I run 2 Airbnb and Rebel Femme podcasts. It's like crazy. So don't ask me how I do it, but that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, that's my next question is like, she's a mom of 4, and like, so there's like almost well, I don't know, I don't want to say this, but like your first set of kids and your second set of kids.
Yeah, totally.
So you have 2 toddlers under the age of 3? No.
Correct. Yeah. One just turned, the oldest turned 3. Yeah. So I'm busy.
Yeah. And as you know, we're on the Anxious Creative Podcast. Let's walk through like, so when we first chatted, when we first met was 2-3 years ago at Ember Retreat.
Yeah.
Would that be right? And,
I think so.
Yeah, you were pregnant at the time, I think, there. And I was so impressed with everything you were doing. And then like watching just through like the powers of social media, seeing like you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram. Are you on Clubhouse?
I am now on Clubhouse.
You're on
I
Clubhouse.
invited you to that hair education group that I started on there too.
Oh, I like went on for a week, and then I was like, it's so much. And do I need to add another thing? And that's like, I kind of guess I want to talk about is like, so I don't have children. You have and you have, I was going to say 4 dogs because I'm a dog mom. You have 4 children, you have a salon, and you have all these avenues. What's the secret?
Magic wand. Just kidding.
You're like, I actually am Cinderella.
No. So how I do it, honestly, I think about that all the time. I just do it, number one. And the way I just do it is by hiring the right people on my team. So I really have a team of really strong women who want to do more than hair in the
Mhm.
salon. They are striving to feed their creativity in a different way. And I just honestly, I have a really strong team of girls that, or women that contribute in every facet of my business, from the salon and also my personal brand as well. So I can't say I do it all. They really are, like, honestly, I just delegate. It's a lot of delegation and project planning that goes into a lot of the things that I do. And we're not perfect, but we do it out of passion and fun. And just, yeah, I honestly, it's passion. And this is the number one thing. We just do it because it's something we all truly love doing.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And the fact that you've got people helping you. I think that's the one thing people don't always see is like they go like, "Oh, look at that person like doing being all the things," and they don't realize all the support and the help that happens behind the scenes.
Totally. And it's a lot of hard work. It's not, none of it's easy. I don't want anyone to think that any of it's easy, but it is fun if you truly love doing it. So it's kind of I love a good challenge and I love change. I'm one of those people that does embrace change.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you like those two things and you like seeing the evolution of your business growing and flourishing, then even if it's small little baby steps of growth, that's what kind of fuels and feeds me to do more and more and more. So
I love that because I'm the kind of person, it's like as soon as I have a system figured out, I'm like, okay, now how do I change this? And I like create more work for myself. Do you tend to do that? Create more work for yourself than you need to?
oh, totally. I am one of those people, like, I have 10 million ideas at any given time. And I literally kind of word vomit all of my ideas to my team half the time. And this is where they, you know, jot down notes. I jot down notes. We actually have a Discord channel that we started just for our team, where we put all of our ideas down on. And now we have separate kind of like rooms or channels for each of the projects that we're working on. And what I do is, I utilize the skill sets that people are most passionate about to take on a specific part of that project. So, for example, I have um, Danielle, who is my assistant social media manager for the salon. She does pretty much manages the salon for me. And her passion is writing blogs and captions. So that's kind of
Mm.
where she kind of helps me out in that area. And then I have another stylist who loves taking stock photos and pictures. So I kind of utilize her for certain projects for the salon as well. So when we all kind of put our ideas together, it's a collaboration effort,
I love that.
because my salon is really not my salon, it's our salon. So every single person treats it as if it's theirs, and they have
Mhm.
a stake in it in some way to make it successful. So when I do an interview, that's like kind of the first thing that I spill out to people is, this is not about it being my business. This is about it being your business and our business. Like, how can we make you better at what you do? And how can we help you grow in the area you want to grow in? So we just really try to find the strengths in each person and use their talents to the
Mm.
best of their abilities, because then their passions just kind of naturally come out, and it
Yeah.
helps their business and our business. So
So what would you say to the solo stylist, the sweet stylist that's like, that's great, Mirella, but like it's just me.
um and what do they want? Well,
They
what are
want
they
to do
looking
it
for?
all.
They want to do it all. You know what? You can do it all. I've been doing this hair thing for a very long time, over 20 years now. And I was a booth runner at one point. We didn't have Sola Suites back then, but I was definitely an independent stylist. Um, I can actually share a prime example of this. So of trying to do it all. I had a passion always for wanting to do session styling or education. I never had the opportunity to back then. So it was something that I really strived to do. And I realized quickly on I needed a portfolio, but I couldn't get a portfolio if no one gave me the opportunity in the job. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I'm going to make my own portfolio. And I decided to work with a couple other hairdressers of mine, that friends that also were booth runners at different salons. And I was basically said like, hey, I really want to do a photo shoot, but like, I want to make it bigger than just doing like one client or one person. How would you feel about pitching in on a photographer and pitching in on, you do the makeup, I do the hair,
Yeah.
and, kind of put it together. And we got together 5 models that were just pretty friends of ours that we thought would be great models. And we hired a photographer and we put on our own photo shoot, and we utilized it back then. This was before Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
And we did this like fairy photo shoot. It's actually funny. I think it's like on my Twitter or something somewhere when I used to use it back in the day. But, I just always had that kind of like drive to want to, grow my own personal business. So I went in and just started planning and collaborating with people. So it's, even though you're by yourself, I would say if you're looking to do anything outside of the salon, like whether it's education or influencer work or working for brands or anything like that, collaboration can be huge, kind of like we're collaborating right now, right?
Yeah.
If you are looking to grow your business and you just want to, hone in on your own thing and do, your own social media, and you want to do your own business and selling products and all of that, you 100% can do it. I think it all goes back to proper planning and creating a strategic plan with every piece of your business and just kind of organizing it all. I'm horrible at organizing stuff, but
And I was just gonna say, I love that you're like, I've been in this for over 20 years. My 20-year anniversary in the industry is this May. And so although like Instagram and TikTok and all these things are newish, it's like I always say like hairdressers, if you know marketing, you can figure out the application of marketing on something. But
totally.
it's not about being good at Instagram, being good at TikTok, being good at Clubhouse. It's being a good marketer and knowing how to collaborate the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, everyone needs to start out with making a plan. I feel like that is the biggest step that's always skipped in
Mm-hmm.
everything we do. It's
Because we
just
don't want to plan. It's not fun or sexy. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I honestly promise everybody, if you just sat down and wrote out your goals and your plans of things you want to focus on,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you're creating a checklist of things you need to get through, and you eventually
Did
can
that
do it.
yesterday.
Awesome.
I branded it because I need to make it pretty. Because
Yeah.
I try to make digital checklists because I have, an education business, and I realized I need tangible. I need to
Yeah.
like kinesthetically like feel, touch, and see. And I'm like, I can't make digital checklists for myself.
You know what? I'm the same exact way. I love paper.
Yeah.
Um, there's something about writing it with your hand. It
Mm-hmm.
like sinks in your brain better. And there's actually studies that prove that. But um, yeah, I even have for our planning in our salon, because I have keep in mind, I have 2 businesses, right? I have my Mirella Manelli hair business, and then I have Rebel Femme business. So for the salon, I have that helps us all as a team. We bought those really big wall or desk calendars, and we ripped it up and put it on the wall.
Mm.
So that's how we stay organized, and we plan out our quarters. So that way we know what's going to go on sale, what our product focus is, what holidays are coming up for social media. So that's a way to keep all of us very organized in what we're doing.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm same. Like I have like a wall that I usually have like the whole year on so I can see
Yeah.
it at a glance. Um, so there's one thing that we kind of talked about is the trap of workaholism. So, because I'm big on let's work smarter, not harder, but I feel you, and it's like if I'm not being productive, I'm not worthy. Does that relate to you?
100%. I think for me, because I have so many projects that I work on at any given time, I just feel overwhelmed sometimes with everything that I need to do. And then I feel like I'm not doing enough half of the time. But what I find that helps me is those checklists that I was kind of talking about, because when I go through and start checking off throughout the day of what I've done or throughout the week, and then at the end of the week, I go back and reflect and I'm like, okay, I did enough today, or I did enough this week that I can take this Saturday off, or I can take this Sunday off, or I can take the evening off and enjoy binge watching some whatever TV show I want to watch, you know? So I think those checklists are kind of like my own personal reality check of I've done enough. But if I don't have them, there's nothing tangible that I can see.
Can't measure your progress.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had this moment yesterday where have you read the book The Alchemist?
No, I
Okay.
don't have time to read books.
I read it years ago and I don't want to give it away, but basically I'll like start here and people will be like, Dawn, like keep it simple. And I was like, no, 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 I want to make this really robust thing. And then I'll go and I'll be like, create like this whole complicated system. And then I'll go, actually, and then I'll like come right back down to the beginning and be like, no, this is what I want. But I had to go on that whole journey in order to be okay with this right here. And like I overcomplicate everything. I know it's kind of deviating from workaholism, but like it's like if it's more complicated, I have to do more. And if I do more, it's like showing that it's worth it. Cause like I don't think things should come easy for me. It's like this
Right.
weird identity thing of like, I have to have earned the success, and earned it means I had to have like suffered somehow, which is so ridiculous.
It totally is. And I think part of that comes from second guessing yourself if you're knowledgeable enough to even give the information, or to, I know I do that for myself anyways, like am kind of back to the am I worthy to, you know, give this information. And that kind of segues into something completely different, but I think it's just, I sometimes overcomplicate things to the point that I am working even more harder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, okay, keep it simple, because this is about simplicity, right? We want to just get straight to the point and to the information directly, and not add so much extra toppings to it is not necessary half the time.
Right. And yet we're like, but we need to do more. I'm always like I'll be like editing a video and I'm like, I should like put this graphic on it or this thing that's like, do I need to?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with I find like caption writing's huge right now. I think everyone's been very kind of overwhelmed, like what do I write on a caption? For me, my focus is for the hairstylist. They want to know what formula I'm using. So
Mm-hmm.
I just I don't overthink my captions anymore. I just, if it's a formula post, it's like um maybe it's a backstory to what I did, but it's very to the point, because that's what I think hairdressers want to see on my feed
I
anyway.
rarely read captions anymore.
Really?
Yeah. You should make a carousel post of your formula. That's what I'll read. If you want to make a post just for me. Just kidding.
Yeah, you know what? My formula posts, the ones when I write the formula on there, those ones do really well, because
Yeah.
you're right, people tend to be lazy. They just don't want to
It's
read
like
the
because
caption.
I think with TikTok now, it's like you don't really like you don't read stuff. You're just looking for visual stimulation. But today, like everyone will hear, like I put a post out about like, do you think I'm thinking about farting? Or it was like just like super simple. When I do fart posts, they do really well because like every hairdresser can relate to having to fart while blow drying someone's hair, and you're like,
Because
I?
everybody
Do I
farts.
not? Everybody farts. But yeah, keeping them. I used to try to like be really poetic and like thoughtful. And I'm like realizing like for me, it's just
Mm-hmm.
like the more stupid I can be, the better. Which takes me to the social media thing is like we can all get caught in the comparison game or the like feeling like behind. Like there, I don't really subscribe to the ideology of like ahead or behind because we're all on different paths. But I
Love
like
that.
this kind of thing that me and you kind of quickly chatted about is to contribute but not consume. And if you want to, do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Well, I know I chatted with you about this on our last call, but I for me, I'm just so busy in my life with all of my projects, and I know what I want for myself personally, that I've written out my goals and things that I want to achieve. And I've just quickly learned that social media is social media, and it's I think what people are really looking for now today is the authenticity out of social media. And I think that's why it's, for example, TikTok has done so well. Um, but I mean, I do enough to study trends or kind of see what people are liking and things like that to kind of give me inspiration, but I don't spend a lot of time for my own entertainment. So I put a lot of my time into the creation of what fulfills me and
Mhm.
fulfills my business in the salon. Um, so I am definitely a contributor to social media. Um, in the sense that I'm just trying to give content and education because that's my passion. That's my number one passion is education. And I just honestly create the content for the purpose of the people viewing my feed and hopefully getting inspiration from my feed.
I love that.
So um I already forgot what your question was, but I hope I answered
To
it.
contribute, don't consume. So really you're not
Yeah.
going on your phone and looking on Instagram to just like pass the time. You're either, you know, collecting data, researching topics, but you're not like getting, because I feel like that's where a lot of anxiety used to come for me. And that's why, like, I think it was in 2016, I took a huge step back from Instagram because it was just every time I went on it, I had a panic attack feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm not being enough. I'm not posting enough. I need I need a better camera.
Mm-hmm.
And like the more that I've stepped away from consuming it and the more, or like intentionally I'm going to go and I'm going to like, you know, engage with people for the next 15 minutes and set a timer and get off. That's helped me. And it sounds like you do a very similar thing.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to what I mentioned about authenticity. I think, and you kind of hit that on the head with talking about farting, right? And just kind of being yourself and saying kind of what it is and what's real. I think people are so over the perfectionism that we see on social media that
Yeah.
it's almost like gag. I don't want to look at that anymore. Is that even like a slang term anymore that people say? Oh my God, I just
Okay.
aged myself.
You're in the right crowd. Look at this. Look at these roots. Um, my favorite account recently that I do like to watch is the Daily Tay. Have you followed her before?
No.
She like makes fun of influencers. She's like she does these like influencer like my new home, and she'll be like, oh, here's the new closet, and then like post some like huge mansion closet, and she's like, I know I have a lot of extra clothes, but it's part of my job. And like that, making fun of that whole like influencer culture that kind of has put like tarnished the name influencer of like the like,
Yeah.
you know, the like peace sign and coffee cup and sticking your tongue out and the, like my life is perfect and I'm so lucky and I have no worries. And I think nobody really cares about that anymore.
No, they don't. I think the vulnerability that people are starting to show and share
Mhm.
is really kind of hitting home. And I think that's why, a lot of my followers are moms that are just trying to figure out how to navigate through having a career and being a mom. And I don't share too much of my kids, but I think the fact that they do see my kids on there, and sometimes I'll share like little stories and things, it just kind of brings like makes me human, right? Like people can be like, oh my God, I totally relate. Yeah, my kid, went through my makeup and drew lipstick all over the wall, you know? So when I share things like that, I think it just makes them feel relatable to me, and that, you know, reasons why maybe I don't post for a week. It's because I'm literally have two toddlers running around and driving me crazy. So
I love it. What is the age gap between your kids?
my oldest is 16.
Okay, so still
Uh, yeah, still at home. Then 12, 3, and 1.5.
well,
Yeah.
so yeah, you'll by the time the youngest is away, you'll have been a mom for, well, you'll always be a mom, but
Yeah. Well, yeah. And also I homeschool. So that's another thing.
wow.
Yeah.
So if we
Yeah.
didn't realize she already did it all, she really does it all. Have you always homeschooled?
No, it was actually, we did it 2 years actually before the pandemic, which I'm so glad I took that leap and did it, because I think a lot of parents and families kind of freaked out when the pandemic hit, and they were like, oh my God, I got to homeschool and I have no idea how to do
Mhm.
it. And the public school systems didn't really have a lot of support, because they didn't even know how to navigate through it either. So since I had been doing it, it came very easy. But the main reason why I do homeschool is because my oldest son is a music producer, and
I
he's
forgot about
very
this.
talented. Yeah. And he already has some Billboard hits, and doing really well for barely turning 16. So I decided that it would be smart of me to go ahead and put him in homeschool so he can focus on his business and kind of just
Wow.
share, and teach him more real life skills, more so than what a public school system can offer him. So
I love that because not every parent, lots of parents would be like, this is a cute hobby, right?
yeah, music is a big piece to our household. My husband's a music producer as well, so he kind of was the one to help mold him a little bit. But it truly comes from my son having a passion for wanting to create music. And we just decided, you know what, we can tell he really loves this. Let's feed that a little bit, feed his passion a little bit more. And I do consider him lucky because I didn't necessarily have the same support system in my
Mhm.
household to be even a hairdresser.
I was gonna
So
say, same. I think almost every hairdresser can empathize with the like, you sure you want to do this?
yeah, sorry, Alexa wants to tell me to go for a walk.
I
I
love
don't know
that.
if
I
you could
want
hear
someone to
her.
tell me to go for a walk. Well, Marilla, what would you say to the hairstylist right now that's going like, wow, I'm so inspired. Like I've got, dreams of having my own salon or working with a brand or, being a content creator. What would your words of encouragement be to them right now?
You can you can do it. That's number one. And don't let anyone tell you you can't. Um, and just be prepared for all of the negativity really that comes with doing things like that. Like if you want to be an influencer, I think that's was a huge reality check for me when I shared that viral video of my daughter getting her hair washed, and
I was
how
gonna say
cruel,
that's been a while.
yeah, and how cruel people can be. But I think it's just learning during that time for me, it's just was learning how to stay in my own lane and really focus on what I was doing, and kind of just who cares about what anyone else thinks,
Mhm.
if you really love doing something and you really want to strive to, open a salon, be an educator, or be an influencer, whatever that looks like for you, you're always going to have somebody that's going to be a Debbie Downer in your path to trying to get there. And I think it comes from a place of they don't want to see you succeed. They're not trying to
Yeah.
encourage you, and find that crew that's going to help encourage you and kind of hype you up to keep moving forward, and write out your goals and stick to them, and just be consistent. I think it's just like anything, it's just the consistency factor in continuing to strive for those goals. And as long as you're moving forward in the right direction, even if it's an inch or two, it's still moving forward. You're still
Yeah.
moving somewhere. So success does not happen overnight. So I think to some it does. I can't say, but to some it does. But for
After
somebody
years of work, usually.
after years of work, yeah, it's literally I've been trying to get where I am today for 6 years. It's not like,
Yeah.
to open up a salon, it took me 10 years to open up a salon. I've always wanted to have a salon. It took me 10 years. So I have a business plan literally from like 2008 that I wrote up, and I found it recently, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I opened up my salon in 2018. How crazy is that? It took me 10 years to
Oh,
open my salon,
that
but I
and
did it.
that's an encouraging word too. Like I hope people listening don't get discouraged by that. But like sometimes you got to wait for the right timing, or you need to learn some lessons along the way too.
100%. I think that every path and on my journey that I've been in this hair industry has led me to where I am today. Everything from working at Ulta to learning salon management at a corporate level helped me get my job at a hair brand, to be a full-time educator, to give me the experience to speak on stage and do public speaking, to
Mm-hmm.
now doing education independently and influencer work. It's literally if all of those things didn't happen, I don't think I would have the success that I have today because of it.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been so valuable, inspirational, and insightful. Those words just rolled off my tongue really well. That was like I planned it. It wasn't planned, but
It
what's
kind of
that?
like Mirella, Cinderella, Gorilla.
Yeah. Full circle moment. Marla, I know people are going to want to connect with you. So how can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
Oh my gosh, everywhere. I'm just kidding.
Come over to my house. This is my address.
But you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Clubhouse, all under Mirella Manelli or morellamanelli.com. And then, yeah, I have a podcast as well too. So Hair B&B podcast, Hair Beauty Business. Yeah. And yeah. And if you ever have any like formula questions, anything like that, I typically respond on my Instagram. That's where I will live.
That's where you'll
Typically.
respond. So if you want to hit
Yeah,
her up, slide into her DMs.
that's right.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you've got a to-do list of stuff to do after this that you are anxiously wanting to get to. So thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to share so much wisdom with myself and the listeners. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. Yeah. And I hope I brought some kind of value to you guys today.
And we'll awkwardly leave it there.
Yeah. And if you happen to see this video, because we are Zoom chatting right now, right?
Yeah.
So if you happen to see my face, apologies for the no makeup.
You look great. All right. See you guys next week. Okay, how amazing is Mirella? I have so much fun with her. When we first met in person, I think we've only actually met once in person, and that was at Ember Retreat. Like, her laugh is infectious. She's one of the kindest people I know. I'm so excited to see what she does next and how she manages to do it all. So thank you, Mirella, so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. That is the best way to support this podcast. If you're listening to this and can take a screenshot and tag Don Bradley Hair and The Anxious Creative and Mirella Manelli, that would be amazing. And go and slide into her DMs. Let her know. Her education is phenomenal. So go creep her out on all the channels, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. Bye, friend.